Well, Akshay Dongre joins us for more on the conflict from New Delhi on this. Well, Akshay, after the SCO summit, do you see this statement as an attempt by Donald Trump to re-enter the dialogue, as Trump mentions it as the most difficult phase also, and simultaneously plans to speak to Putin?
Well, after shifting stances on a regular basis, Donald Trump has once again put on the mood that he wants to have a conversation with Vladimir Putin, and that the conversation is going well. So, all of these claims that obviously sound quite superficial, but that are coming in from White House are also a problematic thing as far as this entire conflict is concerned. Because on one day Donald Trump says that he is having immense and major progress in the peace talks, and then suddenly he starts taking pot shots at the leaders, and in fact personal jibes at the leaders of other countries. So it's been quite difficult to gauge the mood of Donald Trump as well. Because he's now saying that the talks are going well. Just a few days back, he said that he doesn't know what is going on, and that he thought he had gotten it done. So, as far as U.S. leadership is concerned, that remains immensely confused at this point in time, especially after the SCO summit. It seems like that the U.S. administration, the U.S. government wants to stay relevant as far as the peace process is concerned, because even the European Union leaders are now starting to try and find alternatives, because they've realized that the U.S. leadership that was making all these tall claims, perhaps in the hope of Nobel Prize or whatever reason there was, the kind of claims that were being made by Donald Trump about finding a solution and how close he was to finding a solution were not true. So that is why we are seeing all of these changes now. The European Union nations and the Union as a whole trying to reach out to other parties. We saw that the chief of the European Union is trying to reach out to India and enter a negotiation as far as what can be done through India as far as a peace deal is concerned. And if not a peace deal, then peace guarantees, perhaps, that some of the European nations, a group has come up with, by deploying the troops to Ukraine as a form of guarantee. But I don't see how that's different from NATO involvement, because that also involved European troops, American troops near the Russian border. This also involves that unless the European Union agrees and Ukraine agrees to give up the Donbas region and the Crimea part of the Crimea region that were part of Ukraine. And now, we saw there was a referendum in Crimea, after which it sided with Russia, and Donbas was captured by the Russian force, and majority of it at least. So unless there is a territory giving up agreement, it doesn't make sense that the European Union leaders are now thinking of deploying troops on the Ukrainian ground, because without the change of the territory, it seems highly unlikely that the Russian side will ever allow that, unless or the third option remains a status quo as far as the territorial gains are concerned, and the deployment of troops, then coming to an agreement like many nations have as far as disputed territories are concerned. Back to you, Lipakshi.
All right, Akshay. Given Macron's emphasis on a three-part security guarantee for Ukraine, what is your assessment of the situation prevailing right now in the current geopolitical climate?
Well, there is a sense of confusion, obviously, because with the U.S. leadership being clueless as well, and changing stances as far as the negotiations are concerned, the European Union leaders are now thinking of taking the center stage as far as the negotiation is concerned, because they do realize it's not about a Nobel Award; it's about lives that are on the ground. It is more than the ego of any man. So the leadership in Ukraine, in European Union, in Russia as well, are coming to realize that US may not be a very credible partner, as a credible nation when it comes to peace solution and peace deal. So they're trying to find out different ways. This peace guarantee is one of the ways by which European Union leaders are now trying to explore another alternative to the end of the conflict.
All right, Akshay, thank you so much for all those details.